Oof. So, today is December 30th, and I'm 4 books away from my 40 book reading goal. I haven't read a lot this year. It's been a year. I've discovered other things that I enjoy doing. I've been puzzling and playing Animal Crossing and watching Critical Role. I've discovered other things that I enjoy doing that aren't necessarily reading. However, I would like to read 40 books. I'm 4 books away. Look at this in my bullet journal. It's so sad. It's so sad looking. This second half of the year, I've been reading more graphic novels, mostly because they keep my attention a little bit better and they're faster to read. And honestly, the Spider-Gwen series is really what's bumped up my reading goal for this year. So first of all, I'm in the middle of 2 books. One is the Spider-Women compilation trade because, like I said, I've been reading the Spider-Gwen series, and this has Spider-Gwen in it between this issue and the next issue that I have to read in the series. So I wanted to read this so that things make sense. I'm also in the middle of The Black Tides of Heaven. I'm on page 85, and there's about 200 something pages. So obviously that's a little bit more reading to do. But I am enjoying it so far. So then I also have the sequel. It's a 4-book series. I have them all. I'm pretty sure this is the second book. Then I also have 2 graphic novels I've been meaning to get to, Deadly Class and The Umbrella Academy, obviously. I've watched the first couple episodes of The Umbrella Academy, but I really want to read its original form. I can't think of any words. This is 5 books, obviously. I'm 4 books away from reading 40 books, but I'm 5 books away from filling this shelf here. So we'll see. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I also have some audiobooks that I could get around to. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But this is kind of the plan. I look so fabulous. Look how fabulous I look. I haven't started reading anything that I talked about yesterday. It is now December 31st. Last night I started White as Milk, Red as Blood, which I've had for quite some time. It's basically a collection of fairy tales by Franz Xaver von Schwanworth. That's not correct. That were found in an archive, and it's a selection of the over 500 fairy tales that they found there. So I'm almost done reading that. Most of them are just a few pages long, so I'm gonna be finishing that. So that's 1 book down. I also made the decision to listen to the Good Omens audiobook by Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett. But I have a confession to make about audiobooks. I'm really bad at listening to them. I'm just bad at listening to audiobooks. If it's not nonfiction, I'm just constantly confused. My brain starts wandering, and then when I start to listen to the audiobook again, I have no idea what's going on. So I'm going to finish White as Milk, Red as Blood. I might go for Deadly Class or Umbrella Academy because I'm feeling the dark fantasy sci-fi vibes. I might actually go for Deadly Class. I feel like I'm feeling that. So this has basically been why I've barely read anything all year. I'm not in it. I don't have the attention span, but I am really enjoying this. So I'll update about that when I'm done, and then I'll probably read Deadly Class. Also, it's 2:30 and I'm still on an iced coffee. So that's why I'm acting like a maniac right now. I just got a billion texts. That's weird. I'll update later. Oh my god, it's golden hour, which is really sad because it's 4 o'clock. Okay, so I finished 2 books. Where'd it go? Oh, I already put it back. I finished White as Milk, Red as Blood, and I ended up giving it a 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I'm not super familiar with the history of fairy tales and all the imagery behind fairy tales and stuff. I come from more of an English major background studying like the canon of literature, and often in university that does not include fairy tales unless you do like classics or like children's literature, which I never did. So I really enjoyed it. It was interesting, but a few of the stories kind of went over my head and like their meanings and what they were supposed to be, especially the ones where like there was a couple where like the ending came around and it didn't feel like that should have been the ending, if that makes sense. Like the people who did bad things weren't necessarily in the end the antagonist of the story. So I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. The illustrations too are like beautiful. I also literally just finished Deadly Class Volume 1. I really enjoyed it. I took a lot of notes. It's extremely violent, extremely triggering. It's kind of weird because I'm not super into violence and gore when it comes to like movies and like realistic quote unquote depictions of it. But when it's in like a graphic novel format with illustrations like these and it's not like super realistic looking, it doesn't bother me as much. It's also like it takes place in the 70s and 80s. I think this one is just in the 70s. So like very like stereotypical depictions of certain groups of people. First instance of it was basically like slurs. Well, there's a lot of slurs about gay people. And then there were also slurs about like Mexican people. The main characters kind of like they're the ones who don't excuse it. So even though like these are all like horribly unlikable characters, they feel like modern, and I don't know how to describe it. I'm not sure how to. Hey, what's up? This is editing Emily to describe what Emily in this video had no idea what she was talking about. Basically, what I'm trying to say here is that even though it takes place at a time where the slurs and the stereotypical depictions take place, the main characters, as awful and unlikable of characters as they aren't the people participating in it. And from what I've seen of the author, I don't think this is a reflection of the author and his ideas about the world. I think it's just meant to be there as a reminder that this particular world in this graphic novel is horrible and awful and extremely unlikable. Obviously, like, I'm a white person, so some of these opinions that I'm sharing with you aren't maybe mine to have, and I'm not the person to tell you whether or not this is offensive or not, but that's just my opinion on the book and its seemingly problematic ideals. And I think really the point of it is that it's supposed to be this way because the world and all the characters in it are extremely horrible and awful. But the graphic novel itself is really good and I really enjoyed it. Anyways, back to video, Emily. I might just give it like a 4-star. Like, it was good, but I still have issues with it. I am very intrigued to watching the show. And I'm also very intrigued, honestly, to like figure out what happens, because there's like a mystery behind it where the main character Marcus, there's something about his past that hasn't been clearly explained yet, and I really want to know what it is. And also his like main motivation is that he wants to kill the president of the United States at the time, who was Ronald Reagan. That is that. So that's one book that I actually said I was going to read that I read. I think because I'm in like a bit of like a fairy tale mood now that I read White as Milk, Red as Blood, I think I'm gonna read Lives of Saints by Leigh Bardugo. And this is if you're familiar at all with the Grisha universe that she's written, I believe this is like short snippets of all of the like saints of that world. So that's 2 books down, 2 or 3 books to go. Oh, I'm also wearing my Mighty Nine shirt. Also, because I haven't made a video in so long, I dyed my hair pink. So that's why it looks like that. So I'm reading Lives of Saints, and I'm sure a lot of readers have had this year, where you're just reading a book, you're having a good time, and then it says, But the villagers lost their taste for gossip when Semna, I think is the town's name, when Semna was struck down with the wasting plague. They hadn't the strength to go to market or even church any longer. They lay in their beds, gripped by fever. No food could tempt them, and even when they were force-fed, they withered and eventually died. It's not Lee Bardugo's fault. It's 2020's fault. I'm still reading The Lives of Saints, and I'm finding it interesting, and I kind of have a theory. Some of the stories are like a page long, and then some of the stories are like 5-6 pages long. And I'm finding it kind of interesting because the saints that I recognize are the ones that have obviously been in the rest of the novels, but are also the ones with longer stories attached to them. And it makes me wonder if Lee Bardugo's publisher like pressured her into releasing like another Grishaverse book, because I'm pretty sure this came out this year. And then Rule of Wolves, which is the sequel to like the Nikolai trilogy duology, I don't know what it's going to be, comes out in 2021. That's just a theory, but I'm feeling like it's a pretty sound theory. And unfortunately, I think that's sometimes how publishing works, is authors like Lee Bardugo or like probably like Cassandra Clare get pressured to like write so much each year. Maybe that's why James Patterson has so many ghostwriters now. It's kind of sad. So far, I think I would give it like a 3 out of 5 stars. It's just not, like, it's not super interesting to me. But it's good. Like, I think Lee Bardugo is a really good writer. So, I don't know. I'm going to keep reading it, though. It is 7:30 on December 31st, and my eyes are getting very tired. I did it. I finished The Lives of Saints. I think I'm gonna give it like a 3.5 out of 5 stars. It's definitely like I really liked it. But I think it's because I really like Lee Bardugo's writing, and there were like a few of the stories I really enjoyed and made me laugh and stuff. It just wasn't like, it wasn't all it for me. It did feel like, as I said, it kind of felt like Lee Bardugo's publisher was like, hey, got something for us to publish? And she was like, yeah, take this, right? So we're now at the point where basically just like, if I want to make that 40 books, I just have one more thing to read. And I'm a little bit stuck about what I want to read. Ideally, I'm like, because I'm a mood reader, obviously, especially considering I presented like 5 books at the beginning of this and I've only read one of them. So I'm obviously a mood reader. These are the options that I've selected for myself. I can finish The Black Tides of Heaven. I'm on page 85, and there are 236 pages. Now, I'm a slow reader, so this would probably take me quite a bit to finish. Then we also have Spider Women. I could finally finish this. I could finally finish this so that I can continue in the Spider... I can't speak. So that I can continue in the rest of the Spider-Gwen series. And I don't have much left to finish of this, and it's a graphic novel. So that's an option. So basically what I'm saying is I think I'm gonna go with this one. It's quick. Well, it's not super. I'm a slow reader. It just is what it is. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Spider-Woman now that I've talked this through. I've looked at all my options, and I think I'm gonna go with Spider-Woman. It's 8:40 and I did it. I don't know why I'm so tired. It's literally like, it's not even 9 p.m. but I'm so tired. But I did it. I finished Spider-Woman. I have officially reached my reading goal. I'm very proud of myself. And I'm very excited to start like a new book tomorrow, fresh, ready to go for the new year. Don't know what I'm going to read yet. I have a few things in mind. I've really been wanting to get to The House in the Cerulean Sea. So maybe that one. I don't know. I haven't decided. I'm giving this like a 3.5 stars. I get the concept of it. I just didn't enjoy like the having to like quickly pick up on the background of Spider-Woman and Silk, as well as their dynamic with Spider-Gwen. And like I don't like the mingling of all the art styles, and there's like doppelgangers happening because the Marvel universe is like a multiverse, so there's like different like dimensions, like parallel universes. So that kind of confused me a little bit. Maybe I'm just not smart enough for this. I don't know. But I did still enjoy it. I liked the storyline, and I did enjoy the dynamics of all the characters a lot. I just didn't like, basically it's my own fault that I didn't like it, and sometimes that happens. So I'm giving it like a 3.5 out of 5 stars. So I've officially read my 40 books. Thank you for coming on this journey with me. I don't know when this video is going to see the light of day because I haven't posted in like 5 months. I've been thinking about like all the different ways that I want to like adapt this channel, because I've kind of had a hard time with it probably since finishing university. I know that the way I started this channel is not the way that I want to continue, and I'm still trying to figure out where my place in that is and the kind of content that I want to make. I hope we can all say goodbye to the woes of 2020. For one, I know not all of our problems are going to disappear in 2021, but goddamn, I'm so happy it's going to be a new year. And I will see you sometime. You can always find me on Twitter and the Story Graph. You can follow me for updates about my books, because we don't fuck with Goodreads anymore. It's owned by Amazon. Anytime I can distance myself from Jeff Bezos is a good day for me. So let's say no to Goodreads in 2021. Let's say no to Amazon wishlists in 2021. That's what I would love to do. See ya.